This is the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe Revelation Trap Jaw from the Netflix original series. And wow, I've always wanted Trap Jaw because he was one of my first figures back in the 80s, and he's still one of my, actually, I think he's my favorite minion of Skeletor next to Evil Lyn. And I just love this figure. When I was a kid, I would always bring him to school or anywhere I went. One of the figures I always brought with me was Trap Jaw, and I'd replace the weapons on his arm so often that I'd lose all those weapons after a few months, a few years. But he's always been one of my favorite bad guy on the Masters of the Universe show. And to have him here in this format is just absolutely amazing. I mean, this figure was selling very expensively here in Manila. If you were lucky enough to find him at a hobby shop, I never found him at Toys R Us or Toy Kingdom or any retail shop. You have to get him from a hobby shop, and normally he'd go for about $50. Hobby shops, 50, 55 bucks. So I couldn't. I just didn't want to spend that much money for a Masterverse figure. That's, to be quite honest, this should have been just a regular pack, but they made him deluxe because of his robe, his cult robe, and all that. I did find this figure on Amazon.com for $34 shipped. Actually, shipping was free to the Philippines, and this figure, I mean, for $34, I said, why not, right? So, here's a quick look at the back art. Wow, look at that. Absolutely amazing. Pretty cool. This figure, I've seen it several times in shops. I just, I haven't pulled the trigger, and I'm kind of glad I haven't bought this figure. Same with Merman, because Mattel just unveiled some reveals for the fall 2023, and they've got a classic looking Merman, classic Faker coming up. Probably gonna get those figures. Let's get this bad boy out of packaging. And here is Trap Jaw out of the box, and I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. He just looks too funny and corny, all dolled up with this the cult robes and all that. Obviously, I didn't take off the extra arms in it, so he looks a little wide, and it feels like he's put on weight. But honestly, I could care less about these garbs. I thought it was really corny. One of the corniest bits of the show was having them in this techno cult with Triclops and all that. So yeah, let's just get rid of this useless garb, honestly. And I think it's this garb, the cult robes, that really made him a deluxe figure, I think, because without the robes, he would have been fine just as a regular release, or I don't know, maybe they needed extra budget for the extra hands and all that, but extra robotic parts, but whatever. Okay, that's better. This is how I remember Trap Jaw, and oh yeah, this is Trap Jaw. Here we go. Yeah, all right. The replaceable arms. That was the whole gimmick of the original 80s toy, and that's why I love this figure so much. He reminded me of the Cobra Bat, although, somewhat different. I would just interchange the weapons over and over, and to the point that I lost all the weapons. I lost the cover on his chest and all that, but it was a cool toy back in the 80s, and to have him in this format, I'm just pretty happy. Now, details of the figure are amazing. He's got this skull belt, which is reminiscent of his 80s belt back in the day. They've stylized the figure a little bit. They've given him a gauntlet right here. The boots are just huge anime like armored boots. You get the steel plate on his chest, and instead of just having the weapons come out of his shoulder, they've added a cybernetic bicep, tricep, and it comes out of his, I guess, forearm. So that's a big change, a little bit of a change from the standard, from the classic Trap Jaw. And also, they kept the head sculpt very close to the original, with the pink, with the loop on top, and the jaw, obviously. But this is what really bugs me about this figure. When you open the jaw, he's got his tongue sticking out, and he's like Kermit the Frog from hell. I kid you not. I mean, look at that head sculpt. If that doesn't cause you sleepless nights, I mean, really, it's so disturbing. I had no idea Trapjaw was like a frog underneath. So that thing really bugs me. I don't know. But then again, you know, what could they put underneath that jaw? It couldn't have just been like blank, right? So, okay, whatever. The other thing that really bugs me is, well, the design, the engineering design of the replaceable arms. I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks okay. It looks faithful to the original material, but don't you guys find it a little bit small? I would have wanted a bigger, like really exaggerated weapons. And this is the thing that really bugs me with it. The connecting port is the one they use. It's very similar to what they have with the fists. It's very thin, albeit it's made of very, very hard quality plastic. I just feel that the more you keep replacing, oh man, this thing's tight. The more, I'm not gonna put it all the way in. The more you keep replacing his hands or the alternate gadgets, I think, you know, in time that thing could break. I don't know, or it could get brittle and break. So not a big fan of that. And I think because you don't want to keep replacing the weapons, I mean, that takes away the playability and fun with this figure, because the whole thing about Trapjaw is his replaceable arms. And if you're going to be careful all the time and not replace it, and I think that just takes away a ton of the fun with this figure, because that's what he's all about, the replaceable arm. So that kind of sucks. But, you know, overall, I am still very, very happy with this design. It's great modernized sculpt. Yeah, you got some really bad paint jobs on his rear end or his hips, but easily forgivable because it's really just covered up by his loincloth. But yeah, those two things, that's going to mar his final rating. He's not going to get a perfect score, but still very happy to have Trapjaw. So articulation of the figure, double ball jointed neck. You got a ball jointed upper torso, waist swivel, shoulders can go in and out, forward and backward 360. You got a bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows on the left arm. This one is just a single hinge joint on the elbow. Hips are on ball joints. You got thigh swivels, double jointed pinless knee joints. You got a boot cut or a calf swivel. Feet can go up and down, and have the rocker tilt. Some final thoughts on this Masterverse Revelation Trapjaw. It's a pretty cool Trapjaw. It's a great rendition, particularly in the 7-inch scale. I love it. It's not a perfect figure for me. It's going to get a 9 out of 10. That Kermit the Frog from Hell face sculpt, and my issue with the engineering on the replaceable arms just really bogs down this figure for me. I mean, it could have been worked out better. I think it is a deluxe figure. They could have done so much more. And honestly, I don't think it should have been a deluxe figure. I really could care less about these cult things, the cult robe and all that. So maybe it's overpriced, but then again, I did not pick him up at full-on retail. Amazon.com had him for a very good price. Not too bummed out about getting this figure. So I think he's going to stay in my collection despite not being 100%. But I do love the character 100%. So I am keeping him. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Masterverse He-Man and Masters of the Universe Revelation Trapjaw. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.